Inside Track! What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we are here to talk about Toyota. So if you haven't already heard and you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard about Toyota production cars not being in the next Forza Motorsport game, Forza are basically not going to have any production cars in their next Forza Motorsport game. Now, I'll leave articles and stuff about this down in the description below. I don't want to go into it too much because, again, I'm not picking up Forza. I'm not really interested in the game, therefore it doesn't really make any sense for me to talk about it here. But I think what we're seeing is a bit of a deeper issue. So I'm just going to kind of investigate, give my own hypothesis and stuff, and hopefully you guys will see kind of some logic in what I'm saying. Right, so no production cars, no Toyota production cars are going to be in Forza Motorsport 7. So that means no A86, no Supra, no MR2, no Celica, no all those cars basically. So essentially, we're not going to see some of the most popular cars in the game. Now, race cars are still going to feature in this game from what we've heard so far. So I think one of the Hilux trucks is in the game, and I'm pretty sure that, you know, race cars will be in the game as well. Especially if other games are anything to indicate. For example, in Gran Turismo, they have I think it's an FT1 concept race car in the game, and they have Le Mans cars, but I don't think that they've even shown off a GT86 yet. Which leads me on to a further point. It doesn't seem like Forza is the only company being affected by this. The Crew is one of the few games where I thought, you know what, that is the one game where you'd think they'd show a GT86 with how everything's being, you know, explained in The Crew 2. You'd think there would be one in there. I have not seen a Toyota in any of the Crew trailers. Project Cars 2 is a bit of a weird one because it says that there is going to be Toyotas in the car list, but we haven't actually seen any. So whether they've just kept them in from beta and haven't taken them out yet, or haven't renewed the license or whatever, it's a bit weird. But I haven't seen any actual gameplay from Project Cars 2 with Toyotas in. Gran Turismo Sport, again, this is the one that has me most confused, because out of all the companies I've mentioned, Gran Turismo is one of those, like, in Japanese culture, gaming is a lot more mainstream and a lot more, like, accepted than it is over here in Western countries. It's not too bad now compared to what it used to be, but over there in Japan, it's a lot more of a kind of a mainstream thing. As well as that, there's never been a Gran Turismo game without Toyota in, not one. And obviously I'm talking about production cars throughout this video, I'm not talking about normal cars. So that's the one that has me most confused, especially as, you know, the Castrol Super, for example. It's one of those cars which is as popular as it is because of games like GT3, GT4, etc. I'm pretty sure at this point you can see what I'm getting at. By the seams of things, it looks like Toyota are not only in Forza Motorsport, but they're not in all these other games as well. Which begs the question, what are Toyota actually doing? I don't know! I don't know either, son. It's very fucking weird, and it's a bit scary, really, because this has me scared for all the games mentioned, you know, the Crew 2, especially Gran Turismo. Like, there's a lot of cars I'd like to see in Gran Turismo, like the GT86, for example, which aren't going to be a thing. Well, by this logic, at least. Now, obviously, this is all just, like, you know, speculation. Nothing's been confirmed or anything. This is all just me thinking off the top of my head. And race cars still seem like they are going to be a thing, because we have seen those in multiple Gran Turismo trailers. But the fact Forza Motorsport 7, out of all games, is not going to have an A86, a Supra, etc. I struggle to believe that that's not going to affect everyone. I can't think of a reasonable explanation to as why Toyota wouldn't be in Forza and then would want to be in Gran Turismo. That doesn't really make much sense to me. Japanese brands as a whole seem to be quite good with these types of things because, like I said before, it goes back to Japanese culture and everything. Like, gaming is so, like, crucial to it. It was one of the things which rebuilt Japan after the war. You know, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, from my perspective, usually these Japanese brands are really good with these things. You know, whether it comes down to the customization, whether it comes down to, you know, the actual car licensing, they seem to be okay with it. And especially Gran Turismo being so close with the car industry, having, you know, all the Vision Gran Turismo programs where it gives, you know, these manufacturers an opportunity to show what they want to do in the future, which Toyota actually included themselves in. It just doesn't make any sense to me. This is just a theory at this point. We obviously don't know if any of this can be proven right until, you know, developers and game companies say more about it, but it has me worried because it just seems so odd, and the fact I haven't seen a GT86 in the Crew 2 or Gran Turismo Sport with the types of games they are, you'd expect it to be in there. it's just worrying, really. And it even goes back to, like, at Goodwood 2 years ago, they had a Gran Turismo booth in the Toyota thing. Like, they had a shell of a GT86 and it would move as you were steering and shit, and in there was GT6. You would play Gran Turismo 6 in this little simulated thing. And then not only just that, but like with just the way they've conducted themselves before, it's just very weird. Even if it's to do with the branding and the way they want to go with their branding, that doesn't make any sense, because the new Supra isn't going to be electric, or it's not going to be eco-friendly. It's going to be a sports car. So I don't really know what to say. It's just really, really odd. Anyway, let me know what you think. I don't want to ramble on for too much longer. I could probably go for another like 10-20 minutes, but that's pretty much all I have to say, really. It's really odd. Toyota, out of all the companies, are doing this. It's not Ferrari, it's not like Pagani, one of the top end car brands. It's Toyota, like the kind of average Joe Toyota. It's not something premium. Toyota don't really make premium cars, so that's what kind of makes me more confused about all of this, is because it's not one of the higher end exclusive brands. Anyone can own a Toyota. For the most part, Toyota make boring cars. They make boring, economical cars. They don't really make sports cars anymore. Obviously, previously they have, with like the A86 and Supra and stuff, but nowadays they make the GT86, and that's covered between Subaru and then obviously previously Scion, which was under Toyota. It's a bit weird, really. It doesn't really make much sense to me. It's just an odd situation, especially with the new Supra coming out. I just don't really understand. One big fuck you to Toyota. One big fuck you to Toyota. You're messing up. You're making a bad mistake. Video games are one of the best ways to promote your cars. Some of the reasons of why I like some of my favourite cars so much are because of video games. For example, the Murcielago Hot Pursuit 2 cover. Ever since then, I've always identified with that car, and it's just one of my favourite cars. That's it, really. The R32 doesn't really have a pure gaming connection, but I especially in Forza Horizon 2, kind of when I realised that this is what I want, it was like that game was the one that kind of made me think, you know what, I actually really like this car. And as silly as that sounds, some people will be like, oh, you're not a true petrolhead if you didn't read a magazine. Fuck you guys. Before I do end this video, I've got one more thing to say, because I remember AR12 saying it was kind of similar to the VW scandal, and what that happened with the VW in Horizon 3. But I beg to differ. With Horizon 3, VW were only not in that one game. VW was still in lots of other games, and they're actually coming back to Forza this year. This year they're in Need for Speed, they're in Forza, they're in Gran Turismo, they're in The Crew, I'm pretty sure. They're in a lot of games. But with Toyota, they've not only backed themselves away from Forza by the seams of things, but they've backed themselves from every other game. It's not just one thing. It would be different if we were just to lose Toyota from one brand, but it seems like it's everyone. And the one that I'm most confused about is Gran Turismo. Being so close to the car scene and being so close to sports cars manufacturers, I just can't wrap my head around why Toyota would not want to be in a Gran Turismo game other than their race cars. Because just a GT86 it just makes complete sense to have that alongside an MX-5 ND, which has been confirmed for the game. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm confused. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and hit the like, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have an awesome, stay safe, and peace.